So those of you online, those of you who are present, who have been listening to the various basic science, pathophysiology elements, the epidemiology, the outcome measures, the interventions, both pharmaceutical, surgical, know why we're here. And one of the best things about being part of this vitiligo community is that we are led by people with vitiligo. They're on the boards of our organizations, they help organize the meetings, and we've got these 5 wonderful advocates of people with vitiligo who have been in Bangalore for the past week, have helped us organize this meeting, but also lead multiple areas. And this is initiated and coordinated by our VIPOC partners, a global organization, a global community of people with vitiligo. And I wanted to introduce Nicolle and Maya and Stephen and Gaone. Gaone is the president now of VIPOC from South Africa. And then Stephen's on the board of the Global Vitiligo Foundation, also works with GVF from Detroit. Dr. Maya is from the wonderful country of India. And Nicolle represents France, who is in the World Cup after they beat England. Sorry, England. Oh, Croatia. So we have a wonderful sense of community here. We are so happy that you're going to have this conversation for the next few minutes. Dr. Devinder Prasad, Dr. Samia Asmat, and myself, and all the scientific committee are so happy to be in service to you. So let's see what you can do for the next couple of hours, but take it away.
Now?
I'll wait till the slides start.
It's on. Good afternoon. My name is Nicolle Maquignon. I am the General Secretary of the French Vitiligo Association, and I've been part of it for 8 years now. I am also Vice General Secretary for VIPOC, Vitiligo International Patient Organizations Committee. It is a privilege and a great honor to have been invited to this Vitiligo International Symposium. We want to thank the organizers, Dr. Pandya, Dr. Prasad, Dr. Amzavi, Dr. Samia Esmat, Dr. MayaTulpule, and the GVF, and the patients' representative, as well as those who contributed to arrange this symposium. Ça marche pas? It goes away, it's okay. Can you hear? It's better? Okay. I remember first this in Rome in 2015, thanks to Professor Picardo and Professor Tayeb. Yes, thanks to Professor Picardo and Professor Tayeb, the French Vitiligo Association was invited. This was at the time for us such a great recognition. Your sensitivity, how much you care about patients, your interest in your actions, there was no doubt. We knew from that moment that we will go further together. Therefore, just like you, researchers and doctors, we collaborate at the international level to advance research on vitiligo and help finding a cure. We have decided, let's say, Jean-Marie Meurant, president at the time of the association, had a dream to bring together patients' organizations from all over the world and launched VIPOC, Vitiligo International Patient Organization Committee, with the help of George Pliveski from Germany and Paul Montero from the Netherlands. April 2018, Paris received the patients' leaders and the greatest vitiligo experts. Many of you were there. It was a big success, and on the strength of this success, we continue to bring together more organizations and group support. 17 countries are part of VIPOC today. We continue to build good partnership with the pharmaceutical industries, reinforce our collaboration with the medical world, And of course, we want to have more organizations from all over the world. We want to make sure that VIPOC voice will be loud and heard. Gaone Matewa, our president, new president, will tell you more about it in her presentation. While research has since helped to better understand vitiligo and above all, to find a new drug, it is still difficult to live with this disease, which is indeed a real disease and not a skin condition. And that's why we keep fighting. We no longer want to hear the suffering of the people who do not want to go to the swimming pool because they're afraid to show their body. They're afraid to show their arms. They want to hide their hands. They're afraid to start a love relationship or even refuse to have children. We no longer want to hear about children being victims at school and bullied when they go to school. We no longer want to hear, the dermatologist told me that vitiligo is nothing, you can live with it, it shouldn't bother you, and above all, there is nothing to be done. Many of us have heard these words, which leave us completely distraught, no longer knowing who to contact or what to do, no more self-esteem, and even more, we carry a heavy burden with anxiety, and we are depressed, and it's even worse when you have dark skin. Year 2023 is on its way. Yes, we are very grateful to you and to the laboratories for having the first drug officially approved for vitiligo, already on the market in the US, and we hope soon in other countries. In France, the authorization process for official use of tacrolimus should be valid beginning of next year, which will give option and hope of healing and repigmentation to patients. We are also very grateful for the work that has been done on the guidelines. We know the important role you play in the search of new treatments, how you contribute to offer a better life to the people who have white patches that affect the soul, as Dr. Hamzavi said last night. Whenever we live in Africa or Asia, Europe or America, with clear or dark skin, we understand your needs of data, and we are more than willing to help you. Through education, support, more awareness, and advocacy, together we can do it and make a better world for people with vitiligo. Thank you very much. And now, let me introduce our next speaker, Dr. MayaTulpule, general surgeon who has also vitiligo, president of Shweta organization in Pune, and with her big heart and a lot of work and dedication, does so much for people with vitiligo in India.
Thanks, Nicolle, for kind introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. I am thankful to organizers of VIST 2022 at Bangalore, GVF, and especially Dr. Davinder Prasad, Dr. Hamzavi, for the inclusion of VIPOC and patient support group in the plenary session of this conference. Shweta Association, a vitiligo self-help support group from Pune, India, cherishes this physician-patient pharma partnership. On 26 March 2001, on the auspicious day of Gudi Padwa, 10 people having vitiligo came together and started this activity. Dr. Yashwant Taude, Dr. Narendra Patwardhan, who are senior dermatologists from Pune, are our patrons. I'm thankful to IDVL and all the senior dermatologists like Dr. Davinder Prasad, Dr. T. Salim, Dr. V. Mysore, Dr. Torsekar, and many more for their wholehearted support throughout our journey. We started with the aims and objectives of people living with, to bring people living with vitiligo together, sharing and caring, and to remove the stigma attached to vitiligo. Also to improve the quality of life and active participation in the newer drug development. So how we do it? It is done, first our aim is counseling of the patient, because counseling by the people who have vitiligo is most important. It is done at personal level by the person having vitiligo, in groups, or in extreme conditions, cases, we refer to a psychologist. We provide them medical facts, information that it is the lack of color pigment, melanin, and what we really need to do is protect our skin from sunlight along with the treatment. Vitiligo is not life-threatening and no one is going to die of vitiligo. It does not spread by touch and it does not disable you. So accept it, take the treatment, and better learn to live with it. We provide our members who have difficulty in finding life partner. In India, at least 50% of marriages are arranged by the parents and family members. Due to social taboo, getting married is a big issue. We run a marriage bureau where registration can be done online on our website, and matrimonial meets can be attended by boys and girls having vitiligo. We conducted 55th such matrimonial meet last Sunday, and up till now around 1200 marriages have been arranged. Our employment bureau helps people having vitiligo to get an employment or better prospects in their employment. Cosmetic camouflage makeup training is given to conceal the patches. We provide dermacolor, C-tone, and microskin. But again, the cost is an issue I must mention here. They are very costly. Narrowband UVB and eczema is supposed to be a best treatment, and everybody should get the best treatment. So we have started this new activity where we provide narrowband UVB and eczema to one dermatologist who is really genuine and has empathy for vitiligo and is willing to offer the phototherapy at minimal cost. And we donate them for free, the narrowband UVB chamber and eczema. We have social awareness programs also, because if 1% or 2% people are having vitiligo, we need to make aware the 98% of the people in the society about what is exactly the vitiligo. So this is a great challenge, I can tell you. So we conduct meetings at various places where dermatologists and some eminent personality in the society is invited on the podium. So there are writers, thinkers, and many other people, even actors, they come about and talk about vitiligo. This year we have conducted 5 such meetings. Our run for vitiligo is the marathon for social awareness. For last 9 years, we are conducting it on last Sunday of January every year. People can walk or run for 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and the theme is wear your spots. We paint white spots on the cheek of every participant so they can understand how it is, how you feel when they go out with the patches on the road. During Corona pandemic, we organized virtual run It means you can register on the link shared by us and download Strava app and walk on the, say this year it is 29 January, at your place in any country, in any city, just by opening the app. So I request all of you to participate in this novel run. Last year, many people in US, UK, Canada, and New Zealand ran for us. So this year, you can run for us. On our website, the link will be available in the next month. We arrange cycle rallies, and I must say, the cycle rallies are most of the time are arranged by IDVL and Dr. Narendra Patwardhan. So they are creating a lot of awareness. We publish informative booklets. Even we have come out with monogram on vitiligo written by IDVL doctors to make the general practitioners and non-dermatologist doctors aware about vitiligo. There are many pamphlets, brochures, and our annual newsletter, Rangamanase, that is Colors of Mind, is published in March, April every year. So again, we conduct essay competitions. We have produced one award-winning feature film. It is 130 minutes total feature film in the year 2006, and it was this is our public program. This is virtual run for vitiligo. This is flag off. This was the making of the movie, and about 15 big stars from Marathi film acted in it, and I'm very happy that Sudha Murthy from Bangalore, she is the founder of Infosys, she released the film on 2nd of February 2006. And we have won all the awards for this film because nobody has handled vitiligo as a subject of feature film. So he is an actor, Jackie Shroff, on World Vitiligo Day. IDVL actually in the year 2008, long before the 25th June 2012, declared that World Vitiligo Day in India can be celebrated on 19th of May in the memory of Dr. A.C. Datta, who had vitiligo, and he was a dermatologist, and he worked a lot on vitiligo. So we celebrate it since the year 2008. He is Mr. Nipun Dharmadhikari. He is actor and director having vitiligo. Recently, his film has won one state award. So even people having vitiligo are coming forward to work in the films. And he was our chief guest in one of our programs. Now this stigma is peculiar in India and maybe in Southeast Asian countries. When I found out what really stigma is, the dictionary meaning is shame, disgrace, scar, stain, taint, blot, blemish, dishonor, and disfigurement. Except disfigurement, all the synonyms are due to some act conducted by you and for which you have got this stigma or taboo. As far as vitiligo, we have not done anything to be, labeled like this. Only white patches give disfigurements. Again, when we talk about stigma, there is social stigma. All of us talk about social stigma. But let me tell you, there is some personal stigma also in the mind. So if it is, say, 60% in society, it is 40% or more in the mind of the person who has vitiligo. And how I realized it, one day I was just walking on the road and one of my friends was coming from the opposite side. She said, Maya, why you are walking looking at the road all the time? And then I realized this is because I was scared everybody is looking at me. So this stigma is in my mind also. And now after 22 years of work, I have removed it really. So this was, I'm very fortunate, I should say. There was first World Vitiligo Congress, great congress for 3 days in Milan, and I was invited to represent India. Then even pharmaceutical companies, this one company in Pune, she launched the vitiligo medicines, and she said, company manager said that before people approach for the medicines, you should train them that how you feel and how they should talk to the dermatologist. So these, I can't show you all the slides. He is Dr. Gokhale from IGIB, and he is doing 3 projects exclusively on vitiligo. I was with Ogo from South Africa at Paris. So because of the paucity of time, I won't show you everything. I'm just telling you about our new project. We are setting up this narrowband UVB and Excimer laser phototherapy. There are many districts in Maharashtra, I don't know about India, which do not have any phototherapy units. So we identify with the help of dermatologists, someone good dermatologist who is really genuine, and we are donating these machines to him. So we have donated 5 machines up till now, and 2 are in the coming. Also, we are trying very hard with the government of India to change the category of vitiligo from cosmetic disease to non-communicable disease, so it can come under insurance cover. And recently, as I said, in the June, we have started registry of Shweta Association members with the consent of the people. So these are our branches: Mumbai, Thane, Nagpur, Aurangabad, Nashik, Kolhapur and Solapur. We had one branch in Bangalore, but unfortunately the local people who were having vitiligo passed away or moved out, and it's not functional. I'm very sad about it. And these are our phototherapy centers. In Pune, I have it since 2015. Then at Chinswad, Nagpur, Hadapsar and Solapur, and 2 more coming in 1 month. So after working for 22 years, what's the impact we feel? So definitely there is decline in ostracities. I have known few ladies who were thrown out of their house because they were discovered with vitiligo after marriage. And matrimonial problems are really genuine. One of our member, she is here, she will tell you a few of her experiences. Then government took some cognizance, and in 2013, state of Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, they have released a GR that instead of derogatory term like code, white patches or white skin should be used. Then again, World Vitiligo Day is celebrated, and WHO has granted purple ribbon to us. So this is our registered office. As you can see, we have a very good website, Facebook page, Instagram and YouTube. And our film letter is available on YouTube at free of cost. So anybody can watch it at leisure. So thank you. And I would like to give one message to people having vitiligo. Love yourself. Love your body. You are not just your color. There are things, your mind, your brain, everything other than color. So unless you love your body, nobody is going to love you. So love yourself. Thank you very much. And one second. I am going to introduce my friend who is going to talk after me. He is Mr. Richard Taylor from Michigan, USA. He was a reliability engineer with General Motors for 35 years. He is now retired. He is an executive member of Global Vitiligo Foundation, and General Secretary of Vitiligo International Patient Organizing Committee, that is VIPOC, and he is running V-Strong Vitiligo Support Committee. Next to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Maya. You're too kind. Good afternoon. My name is Steve Taylor, and I am a 62-year-old Afro-American diagnosed with vitiligo some 40 years ago, and I have tried a host of treatments, but to no avail. And I am currently over 99% void of color. And to help you to appreciate what I mean by that statement, I found an old photograph of myself with my original skin color. I'm going to show it to you, and all I want you to do is to focus on the face, okay? That's the old Stephen Taylor. I am the new Stephen Taylor. Next, I am a member of the V-Strong Vitiligo Support Community, and I have been affiliated with this organization located in Detroit, Michigan, USA for over 15 years. And this is a recent photograph of one of our signature events, our annual picnic that we had back in August. Now, the architects of our support group are Dr. Lim, Lee Thomas. Lee Thomas works as a news reporter in the entertainment field for a local news station in the Detroit area called Fox News 2 Detroit. And finally, Dr. Huggins. And in the picture below, they too attended our annual event. Now, just to give you a synopsis of how this group came to fruition, Lee Thomas, when talking live on TV, wears makeup, as you can see in the picture above, but his hands are exposed. This caught the attention of a viewer whose son has vitiligo. So she reached out to Lee and said, hey, can you encourage my son? He's struggling with vitiligo. Lee said, sure, why not? At the end of the conversation, this young boy asked Lee this question. Lee, why don't you show your vitiligo when you're on TV? Lee's response was, why? The answer that this boy gave to Lee changed his life. And I quote, if you show people what you look like, maybe they will treat me differently. Wow. Talk about a power statement. So began the process of the making of this support group. Lee goes on TV without makeup and talk about vitiligo. Next, he writes a book entitled Turning White, a memoir of change. Then he goes to Dr. Lim for assistance in starting a support group. Dr. Lim said, sure, no problem. I'm going to give you the following. 1, a dedicated room right here at Henry Ford Hospital with the necessary equipment, and 2, most importantly, a dedicated dermatologist, Dr. Huggins. And since then, we have registered over 200 people, mostly in the Detroit area. We meet every other month, and on the off months, we have a leadership committee that plans for future meetings and events. And since COVID, we have not skipped a beat. We went virtual. And I'm happy to announce that in our meeting in November, we were successful in launching a hybrid meeting in preparation for 2023. Next, our mission statement. And it's based on what I like to call the 3 pillars of vitiligo. V-Strong Support Community empowers, educates, and advocates for those living with vitiligo and their families through a shared set of values. Basis of vitiligo: to provide support and collaboration with various support groups through encouragement and information. Voices of vitiligo: to provide community awareness and education through advocacy, networking, fundraising, and social engagement. And finally, science of vitiligo: to work with clinicians and their researchers to promote scientific advancement in finding a better treatment and a cure, I'm sorry, did I say cure? Yeah, for vitiligo. Now, I want to give you my unofficial interpretation of the 3 pillars. You want to hear it? The faces of vitiligo. That's Lee Thomas, because he's a celebrity. He's bringing those vitiligans out of the closet, living this agoraphobic type lifestyle to our meetings. The voices of vitiligo: those are our vitiligans that come to the meeting that talks about their journey. And when you think about it, we can connect to their journey because their journey is like the ingredients of ice cream. Think about it: cream, sugar, and milk. But what makes those journeys unique is the added flavor. So they may talk about their strawberry ice cream journey, or he may talk about his chocolate ice cream journey, or I may talk about my favorite French vanilla ice cream journey. But we can connect because basically the ingredients are the same. And finally, the science of vitiligo. Well, that's Dr. Huggins, with the support he gets from Henry Ford Hospital Dermatology Department that educate us about our disease. We own this disease and we need to take responsibility for it. Now, to help us to stay focused on the science of vitiligo, we have a standing line item agenda at every meeting entitled Ask the Doctors. So we send out surveys prior to meeting and discuss during meetings any questions you have. And notice some of the questions we've entertained in the past. For example, number 2, chronic hives and itchings. Are they linked to vitiligo? Question 5, my 12-year-old son started to repigment on his knees and we don't know why. Any ideas of why? Or how about this interesting question in number 7? As an older woman, I am interested in using the products that assist me in maintaining a youthful face. What should I avoid in using those over-the-counter facial products? The purpose of this line item, Ask the Doctor, is to keep our members from going out there in social media, or even worse, talking to Dr. Google. After the meeting, our members are encouraged, refreshed, educated, but most importantly, they are empowered to continue to live a normal life while facing the challenges of vitiligo. Next, I was recently appointed to the GVF board this year, and I'm telling you, this is one humbling experience to see healthcare providers networking with the vitiligo community. Back in June, we had our World Vitiligo Day in Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA, and I had the opportunity to roll out this powerful website to those in attendance. And I'm just going to give you some excerpts of what I did. So at the beginning of this website, we have a section here entitled Persons with Vitiligo. And Dr. Pendia, I appreciate how you explain that phrase, persons with vitiligo, because you know what that says? It humanizes us. Because vitiligo does not define who we are. I appreciate that statement. Now, a lot of times when I'm talking to doctors, I need a dictionary because I don't understand the word they're saying, and that's no disrespect. And I said that for a purpose because when you read their mission statement and vision, you can feel the I care message to the community. For example, they start off by saying, "Hi, how can we help?" You don't have to do this alone. We're here for you, for guidance, templates, and opportunities to connect. Their mission statement: to improve the quality of life for individuals with vitiligo through education, research, clinical care, and community support. In the vision statement, when I read this, I got emotional. And that's hard for me to do. And I'm having a hard time getting ready to read it now, so please bear with me, because this touches the heart. A world where the burden of vitiligo is eliminated through compassion, care, and cure. So, when you go into this section for persons with vitiligo, you're going to see 9 hyperlinks with a proliferate wealth of information. If you were to click on Understanding Vitiligo, you'll get a list of types of vitiligo, diagnosis, frequently asked questions, treatment options, and, oh, by the way, Pat, I'm putting you on notice. We're going to add more treatments in here based on what's going on this weekend. So this is going to be growing, and we appreciate what everyone is doing to make this treatment options section grow with more options. Support groups, I'm going to discuss that later. Reimbursement and insurance. Where were you 40 years ago when my healthcare insurance provider said, well, we're not going to cover treatments for you, Mr. Taylor, for vitiligo, it's cosmetic. If you click on that button, they will give you a suggested escalation process that you can use with supporting documentation to drive back to your health care insurance provider to get the treatment we deserve covered. Let's talk about support groups. They have registered over 31 support groups in this area. So anyone wondering where I can go to connect to the community, you click on the button, you click on the state, you got your information. It's that simple. But it's not. I saw something in there and I said, I saw potential there. So what I did, I took those support groups and put it on a flow diagram. And I need your help. I saw something that was greater than just click on the button, find a support group, make contact. And I need your help to see, does this make sense? What do you see up there? And by the way, it's rhetorical. You know what I see? Support groups are your greatest resource. I see an evolution process of uniting all of these support groups under the umbrella of GVF. That's power. And you can see it happening. For example, Dr. Huggins has a quarterly meeting with all those support group leaders, and he established a process I like to call feed forward, feedback. In other words, he invites all the support group leaders to discuss what's going on in your silos. And as they talk about it, you can hear conversations like, hey, that's a great idea. Oh, we need to connect. Can you show me how to do that? Have you thought about this? Maybe we're communicating. That's the process for unification. Then Dr. Huggins feeds back to the group saying, this is what GVF can do for you, providing you with resources, tools, funding. And GVF is an equal opportunity healthcare provider. They don't discriminate. Any of these support groups can benefit from it. My next favorite hyperlink is Living Well with Vitiligo video series. We have SMEs, subject matter expert, giving us video talk averaging between 2, maybe 4 minutes at the most on subjects dealing with mental health, diet and nutrition, support groups, to name a few. Wow, that's amazing. So at the conclusion of the conversation on World Vitiligo Day, we gave everyone a GVF business card to drive everyone to that website, to get all that answers, get all those questions answered, or get the information you need. And by the way, I have extra cards if anyone wants any. So, in conclusion, I'd like to thank everyone here for giving me the opportunity to share with you Be Strong Detroit and my involvement with GVF. Next, I'd like to invite our next speaker to the podium, Gaone Matewa from Johannesburg, South Africa. She is, as stated earlier, our newly appointed president of the Vitiligo International Patient Organization Committee, VIPOC, and she is the Chief Advocacy Officer at her local support group entitled Beyond Vitiligo. You have our undivided attention.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm so happy and honored to be part of the conference, actually, to experience all of this. Firstly, I would like to thank all the organizers to make it all possible to bring everyone from different countries. I would like to thank GVF and then the hotel and everything. It's been amazing. And then, yeah, networking with the doctors and everything, because we do need doctors and then scientists. Your expertise is indeed needed. As per my friend Stephen Taylor said, my name is Gaone Matewa. I am based in South Africa, Johannesburg. So I'll be speaking about the organization that I've been running for the past 13 years, 14 years, which is called Beyond Vitiligo. So this is just what we're going to talk about, who we are, and then our members, and then the founders, everything. I just have a little video that I'd like to introduce myself here, why the reason I started the organization. I've been living with the condition, the disease actually, not even the condition, for the past 20 years and plus. I had vitiligo when I was 2 years, and when I was 14 years, it disappeared. When it disappeared, to be honestly, I was excited. The reason why I was excited, because at that moment, I felt that I was fitting in the environment. So I knew that I was 14 years, and when you're a teenager, you know, you are on that stage of teenagers where you starting seeing yourself that you're looking all pretty, you want to play with your friends, and then I was on adolescent stage. So when it disappeared, I was quite excited, because at least there was no one who was picking me, saying that, hi, Gaone, you look quite different, you know, wherever I go, getting name calling, you know, like such as a cow, chameleon, which chameleon now is one of the lizards that I like anyway, you know, something that I used to hate when I was young, because I was associated with it because of the color. Now when I see a chameleon, I'm like, oh my word, you change color. That is absolutely beautiful. So yes. I'm just going to play a video a little bit, just introduce myself, and where you can show the transition. Because I had it when in 14 years, it disappeared when I stopped taking medication, the drugs, treatment, and everything. And then when I was 22 years, when I was doing some of my studies, that's when it reappeared. So it's been spreading since then. I wish I knew the reason why it disappeared, and now again it reappeared.
Vitiligo is a pigmentation disorder of a human skin. It destroys your pigment cells that produce the color of your skin. The reason that I became a social entrepreneur is due to my personal experiences that I went through living with vitiligo. At some stage, I got tired of crying, of feeling pity for myself. I had to talk to someone else. The more I started opening about it, that's when I realized that no, actually the more I talk about it, the more I feel much better. The personal insecurity that I had to overcome was not believing in myself, not having confidence, because vitiligo, it can make you feel depressed and it can make you not trust yourself enough to do something else. I believe that the more you associate yourself with negative thinkers, the more it's going to affect you. So if someone's like, you've got friends and they tell you, you can do it, you end up believing yourself like, why not do it? I've got positive thinkers in my life.
So I just thought I should just share a little bit of my personal experience from someone who has been living with the condition because of the depression that I had to go through when the vitiligo reappeared. And when it reappeared, actually, it reappeared at a crucial stage, another crucial stage of my life, because I was in university doing my second year. It was during semester break. So when I came back, my friends was like, Gaone, what really happened to you? So can you imagine what happened at that point? It took me back to the childhood trauma that I had living with vitiligo and having to explain to people that, I have a disease, a skin disease called vitiligo. And then in South Africa, there is so much stigma actually. Most people, they believe that it has to do with your ancestors. And then the funny part, or the sad part actually, is that it's always associated with something bad, as if it's bad luck, or maybe the ancestors are angry at my parents, or they are angry at me, which is not only in South Africa, it's also in Kenya, Nigeria, and then also in Botswana and Zimbabwe, some of my colleagues that I work with. So Beyond Vitiligo was launched in 2011. It was launched together, actually the same day when World Vitiligo Day was launched. I remember when I got a call, an email from Mr. Yen and Ogo, they were asking me like, Gaone, can you please get the support group from South Africa or your African contacts, because we need those contacts. We need, I think it was 85,000 signatures or 100,000 signatures, I don't remember. When World Vitiligo Day was launched, we were so excited because we realized at least now we'll be more recognized, and then meaning that if we're going to be more recognized, then we'll have more options of treatments, because with my journey and some of their members of different organizations, so many times of us, we were told that, no, it's just vitiligo, there's nothing that we can do. It can just spread and all that. The information was not so much. It was quite discouraging and all that. So what is Beyond Vitiligo we've been doing for the past 13 years? We've been creating awareness in South Africa and across the borders. Across the borders, we are working closely with Beyond Vitiligo Botswana, which was launched 2017 by the young lady who called Ulisego. Unfortunately, most of the time she doesn't attend conferences due to her career, the demand of her career. And then also one thing that is very important on anyone who lives with vitiligo will tell you that the support, the psychological impact of looking different, and the reason why there is so much psychological impact, it's not only about us, it's the society. When I'm saying the society, myself included, you know. When you look different, most of the time, you get so many stares. Whenever I go to the shop with my kids, my 2 boys, they be like, "Mommy, why are they looking at you?" I'm like, "Because I'm too beautiful." Because what am I doing by that? I am trying to empower my children not to get offended whenever I go, because I am darker skinned with the where I still have melanin, so that they don't get shocked that, no, my mom gets this because, you know, she looks different and all that. I just try to remind them that, no, your mom, she has a disease, but guess what? She's still beautiful. So our vitiligo support group, we've been running it since 2014 to currently, but unfortunately in 2019, due to pandemic, most of the time, we've been doing a little bit of webinars, or we're doing just on Zoom, just to checking up on each other. It's unfortunate that, you know, at some point with Beyond Vitiligo history, we lost 2 members of our organization from different cities. Both of them, they were males, they committed suicide. The reason that whenever we spoke to them, they didn't want to hear anything from us. What they wanted, they needed a cure for the disease. I remember Sipho saying to me, "Gaone, don't ever speak to me the day you get the cure for the disease." When we got a call from Sipho's mom, I was so sad. I wish we could have saved him with innocent, but unfortunately it was not enough. So there is so much work that needs to be done. Like my friend Steven says, we've heard so many times about the treatment. When are we gonna hear about the cure? Because we have patients that are committing suicide because you take the medication, the treatment, and you relapse. When you relapse, what happens? You lose hope. So we really need to work together while the vitiligo patients are being supported emotionally. I wish, I don't know, if 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, that maybe if it's not my generation, then the next generation, at least, there should be a cure for vitiligo so that they shouldn't experience what most of us have experienced, the psychological impact for trying to fit in, for someone else not getting a job because they look different. One of the Beyond Vitiligo members, cannot mention the name, but unfortunately she couldn't get a job to be an air hostess because when she went for an interview, the interviewer was focusing mostly on the hands. Likely on the face, she had makeup on. And then one of the objectives for Beyond Vitiligo is vitiligo education. We call VIPOC. So vitiligo education, what do we mean by that? We've been creating awareness. We don't only believe on creating awareness to accommodate adults or elders. We also do school drives, for anti-bullying campaigns, because bullying nowadays actually is becoming such a common sad thing in the lower primary level. So what do? We go to schools and then we do, we tell the young ones about vitiligo and everything. Usually what we use the dolls, the Barbie dolls that has vitiligo, and then some of the books for the little one. This is such an exciting moment to have vitiligo actually, especially that nowadays, children have toys that they can associate themselves with. Because to me personally, representation is very, very important. When I saw 2014 or 15, I saw on social media that, wow, now we have dolls with vitiligo. Can you imagine a child going on treatment and the child has a doll, something that can comfort that little girl or the little boy? That is quite exciting. When I look on the journey of vitiligo from years then when I started, when my vitiligo reappeared to now, at least I'm seeing that at least some positivity that is happening. But still, there's still more work that needs to be done. But then unfortunately, that work cannot only be done by the patients. It can be done from the doctors and the pharmaceutical and everyone, because we need the cure for vitiligo. I'm just gonna talk about some of the projects that we're doing. So in 2017, we started a project called Essential Drive. The reason why we started Essential Drive is because the climate in South Africa or in some part of Africa is quite hot during summer or during spring. So can you imagine you have vitiligo and all that, and then you are very sensitive to the sun, we get sunburn and all that. We started a drive called Essential Drive, and then we partnered with some of the companies called Incolabs and Advert Brands. So Essential Drive is an essential pack that has a sunscreen, SPF 50, and after sun lotion, and then it also have a lip care that we use with SPF 20. And one of the reasons why we started this, because of the economical scale in South Africa, or maybe in part of the world in Africa, not everyone is fortunate enough as me or maybe someone else to afford to buy sunscreen. When we started this, I was with one of my colleagues, Tebi, which is part of the board also. We were just driving around, and then we saw this gentleman was selling fruits and veggies, and it was very, very hot. And we went to speak to him. When we spoke to him, we noticed the redness on his skin, and you can see that the skin has been peeling. I'm like, sir, are you fine? And then he's like, no, the sun is just too much. I'm like, have you ever heard about sunscreen? And he was like, I think I saw a little bit on TV, but I'm not really sure. I was shocked, and then I was so sad that to see that this gentleman, he is trying to meet the ends and provide for his family, but then unfortunately, he cannot even afford sunscreen, or he doesn't even know how to take care of his skin because of less melanin. And then we also have kids actually in our organization Beyond Vitiligo. So we do try to involve also some of the activities for the children by using the books and the doll, or sometimes having sessions with the parents. You know, sometimes we only speak about the patients living with vitiligo, but then we should also remember the parents or the loved ones of people living with vitiligo, because they also need support so that they can be able to know how to support their family. This is some of our members and some of the activities that we're having. So sometimes, I think one of the pictures, we're just celebrating Mandela Day on the 18th of July somewhere, and then the other one is just having picnic. So before COVID, we used to have more activities, try to meet as much, maybe twice a year or once a year if it's not possible. And then some of the projects here, we go to this one where we go to school to do the school drive for anti-bullying campaign, teaching the children that not to look at others differently just because of less melanin. Okay, this is some of our members, which is the children, but then the pictures were taken by the parents' approval. So you can see there's a doll there, the sunscreen, and there's a book. Some of the books were donated by the author, Mrs. Julian from South Africa. And then currently we have 158 members across South Africa, and then we have the youngest member who is 2 years and a half. The member of Beyond Vitiligo actually is a pretty little girl. She was born during pandemic, and her vitiligo started when she was 1 year or 2 months. Currently, it's still stable and everything. So the mother joined the organization when he realized that, no, my daughter has something, and when she went to the dermatologist confirmed that, yes, this is vitiligo. I think as in every organization or company, there is always challenges, but then one of the challenges that Beyond Vitiligo has actually is the funding. Since we started the organization in 2010, we have never got financial funding for the organization. But regardless of not having funding, we know that one day the doors will open and one day the organization will get that funding. But that doesn't stop us from creating awareness, because you start from somewhere and then we believe that one day things will be much better for us. And then the reason why we don't get funding much in South Africa, the reason is because the policies actually, the second sign actually is for our government. Our government and the policymakers are not friendly at all for people living with vitiligo. When I go to a corporate, I'm classified as someone who's disabled, which is fine. I don't have a problem being classified with disability, you know, because I look different, and then some of the opportunities I might not get them because I look different. But then if you want to classify me as someone with disability, why don't you give opportunities? Why don't you make the policies much more friendly? Because the policies that I follow under, actually, I'm even laughing. I'm classified under albinism. There is nothing about vitiligo on the policies in South Africa. So it's just been back and forth trying to work with the government and the policymaker that, hey, vitiligo cannot be classified as albinism and all that. When I started talking to the government in 2016, going to their offices, they say, no ma'am, yes, we do cater for you. You are under albinism and you are disabled and everything. There's even a grant. I don't want disability grant personally because I'm in a profession. But I want that policy to specify, to say that this is vitiligo, this is their policies, so that at least we can have somewhere to start. Because if we are not taken seriously on the policies, meaning that the seriousness of the disease is going to move slower, in a slower pace than how it's supposed to be moving. This is our reach, the reach that we used here. It was done on search optimization engine, SEO. The reason that being that is just that we're just showing the kind of contacts that we get in South Africa from social media, and then also from emails, people reaching out to us. So every time when people reach out to us in South Africa, we try to pass the numbers to some of our colleagues from different countries. I'm just going to share a small map that was designed by one of Beyond Vitiligo members, Mrs. Nobuntu Morage. And then the reason why she wanted us to show this is because she goes to a public hospital. Not everyone can afford to go to a private doctor to pay for the dermatologist, and then you also have to pay for the medication. So the next 6 steps I'll be sharing is just to show how to reach your nearest dermatologist in a public hospital. So the first step, when you go there, you need to get a referral letter from a GP or from a nurse, so that you can be able to go and see a dermatologist in your nearest public hospital. So the next one, you go there to the clinic and then you'll be booked for consultation. So I just have to wear my specs. Sorry about that. And the next time you go to the hospital, you get the referral letter to go to dermatologist, and you'll be booked for consultation. And you'll be able to see dermatology. Sometimes it depends, 2 months and 3 months. Imagine you are a patient, you've just been diagnosed with vitiligo, or you're suspecting that you have vitiligo. Now the next thing, you have to wait for 2 months or 3 months to see a dermatologist. The reason being that is that we do not have enough dermatologists in South Africa in the public hospital. Most of them, they are on the private sector. And not everyone can afford to go to a private sector. And the next one, okay, they charge a fee of 75 rand. 75 rand maybe might be 50 dollar if some for, but then they don't charge anything for any elderly people or anyone with disability. You see our policies, we are classified as someone with disability in a work environment. But when I go to the hospital, now at least here I do not pay. And for children under the age of 18, they also don't pay the 75 rand. After waiting for 3 to 2 months or 3 months, then the dermatologist will do an autoimmune disorder to check if you have any other diseases. And then you will get a date. After getting those tests now, you have to go home, and then you'll get another date, which is 2 months to 3 months now, where you will have to come back and see a dermatologist with the result. So there's 3 months. What's happening during that period of 3 months and 2 months? Your vitiligo, it might spread more because of what? As a patient, if I'm going to go and see a dermatologist and I have to wait for that period, I will definitely be more stressed during that period. And then after that waiting period, the doctor will prescribe the medication for your vitiligo, and nowadays they add a little bit of sunscreen. So I'm just this is the pandemic visual event that we had since pandemic for World Vitiligo Day, and this is some of the members. And then if you look there on the pictures, I think there are two members with albinism. So because during pandemic, we have a lot of essential packs that were left, the sunscreen and the after sun lotion and the lip care. We had more than enough left because of less activities, interactive that we're doing during pandemic. We donated some to Zimbabwe, to people living with albinism, and some of the sunscreen were donated to some of our colleagues who has organization in Botswana. So I am Gaone Matewa. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I think for our next speaker, I would like to re-invite my friend, Nicolle Maquignon from France. She is a very special speaker. The reason being that she's a very special speaker is that herself, she doesn't have vitiligo, but she's here to, she's here to support her loved ones that have the condition. Please welcome Nicolle.
Yes, like Gaone was saying, yes, I don't have vitiligo, but it's one in my family. So I live with white people with vitiligo, and my daughter is black, so now I live with black people with vitiligo. But the burden is the same. I tell you, it's very hard. So we'll talk about the French Vitiligo Association. French Vitiligo Association is 30 years old, which means that's an association that has already a long story, and a long story, but a young association because we are very dynamic. And for all that time, we will support, listen, inform, advise, raise awareness and advocacy, and help the research. We have a board with 16 people. We are all volunteers. And we have also a scientific committee made up of researchers and doctors, experts in vitiligo. I'm like a Professor Passeron, Professor Ezedine, Professor Sénéchal, Dr. Gauthier. All those people are members of our scientific committee and help us to answer, very scientific questions that people can ask after they go, like you see, like Steve said, to do Dr. Google. Then we have to ask to the specialists to have information. So because we were celebrating our birthday, we decided to have a new logo and a new website, because we have 150,000 connections a year. So we're pretty active, so we decided to make something new and easy, with easier access. We have a hotline. Every Wednesday we have a hotline, which means we answer to the people asking questions on the phone. Most of the people are women, some men, but the people ask for advice, for, they want to know where to find a doctor. But then most of the time they want to talk about their anxiety, about the stress, about how bad they feel with vitiligo. So it can be sometimes long conversation. And we also have a newsletter every 2 months with more than 5,000 subscribers. So we give information about treatment, medical information, clinical trial events, everything you find in the newsletter about our activities. Social media, so we of course we have a page, Facebook, more than 10,000 people follow us. We have Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, we use all those social media. We have a support group that we call also GPS, every four times a year. 2 psychologists are on the line and they answer the question live. It's very interesting and, every theme has a lot of followers, like, the World Vitiligo Day discussion, we had a lot of people. What do you do when people tell you, well, vitiligo is nothing? What if you fall in love when you have vitiligo? That's a very important question, and we have to talk about that because it happens, and sometimes it's difficult. We have a workshop called Better Being with Vitiligo, so we propose corrective makeup and image coaching, naturopathy, and therapeutic hypnosis. We also have those makeup masterclass, so we organize a makeup workshop, to learn how to sublimate your body, not to camouflage, not to hide, that's very important for us, and it's a moment where you can learn about the project, you can discover new ways to make up, and also you get good advice and you can share with other people that are with you at the masterclass. We have also, since last year, a new group called Youth Speak Out, and it's a group for young people from 16 to 25. It's managed by young people with vitiligo, and with the help of a young psychologist, it's online. And again, different subjects are, they talk about different subjects for young people. They want to share what their experience is, what they can do, and people ask them questions and everything. So it's very good to have young people talking to young people. One event that was kind of a very key event in June 2021, we organized a French Tour de France, which means we went to 18 towns in France, and we visited the hospital. So we met all the doctors, the nurses, the students, and we talked about the disease. So people, were not really too much aware, and now we can have addresses to send our patients in those doctors, and it was very interesting. We also met our members in those towns, so we can exchange and talk, and it was a lot of work because we traveled for a month, around France, 5,000 kilometers. Took a lot of work before, but it was very fruitful, and it was very interesting and good for the doctors and good for our members. Last year also we had a big campaign that was offered by Makeup Forever, about vitiligo, and all those posters, they were very big, and they were posted in a bus stop, in a lot of towns. I guess we had about 1,000 posters all over France, and it was very good because it's a good way to see what is vitiligo, and we had one last year and again one this summer. And we also made a video for teenagers. So there is no language, so that means it can be seen all over the world. It's nice against harassment and kids being bullied at school. So our projects for next year, of course, we want to improve our engagement on the international level through VIPOC, and we help other countries to set up patient organizations, like we did help an organization in Congo, in Africa, to get, to set up, and they are now very active and very dynamic, and they're part of VIPOC. And we also want to keep helping the research and being, participating in clinical trial studies, because we know that, the research needs a lot of data, and of course we're ready to help and be part of it. And we also work on a workshop on a therapeutic patient education with the Hospital of Bordeaux with Professor Julien Sénéchal. We want to do a comic for teenagers, and of course we are very aware about the new treatments coming and want to be informed about, you know, what's going on. So we have our head ready for that. So this is our partners. And the French Association is also members of different other associations like the Rare Disease, the French Federation of Skin, the International Alliance Dermatology Patient, and of course VIPOC. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Gaone is coming back to talk to you about VIPOC.
Afternoon, once again, I am Gaone Matewa, and I'm just going to be speaking about our organization called VIPOC. VIPOC stands for Vitiligo International Patient Organization Conference, or Vitiligo International Patient Organization Committee. This is our picture to show the previous conferences that we had. I think here it was in France in 2018. Maybe some of you know Jane Mary, you're wondering why the background and why a picture of Jane Mary. We believe that you need to give people that do great their flowers when they are still alive. I met Jane Mary in 2015 in Global Skin Conference in France or Milan, I can't remember, one of those two countries. And then after the conference, he started talking about that he wants to start an organization that will put 3 stakeholders, which is patient leaders and the scientists and doctors, and then also, you know, the farm. Because we need farmers, we also need the scientists and the doctors. So, which was like, wow, that's quite interesting. I have never, thought about someone creating an organization that will put stakeholders under one umbrella, but still representing their values, what they stand for, so that whatever guidelines that one of the 3 stakeholders they are guided by, but they still follow them. So that was 2015, and then 2018, the organization was established. Currently, our offices are in France, in Paris. I think I also forgot to mention that Jane Mary was the previous president, so looks like I have the big shoes to fill in, but then yeah, we've been still working together in everything. And then this is the current board, executive committee board that we have, which today we have Mr. Stephen Taylor, and then we also have Mrs. Nicolle Maquignon, and then we also have Dr. Maya from the steering committee. And then this is just describing who are we and all that. So VIPOC, we make sure that at least there is a lot of networking, the networking of the 3 stakeholders that are under one umbrella. And then we offer support to our patient leaders, and then also the support for the patient leaders representative. It will depend with the countries, maybe challenges or they need help here, and then we'll see how we can assist them. And then also the most important one is research, because without the research, we will never find the cure for vitiligo. So we do appreciate you doctors and the scientists for all the work and the studies that have been doing for the past years and the coming studies until we find the cure. And what do? We would like to maybe pressure on WHO and the regional agencies. Regional agencies, you know what, sometimes before you go international, we need to work nationally and regionally to see where we can help and everything. And then the fundraising for strong VIPOC and awareness where it's needed. And then the global guidelines, because global guidelines are very also important. I think due to time, I'm not gonna make my presentation longer so that some of our friends from India, they can also have time to say something. Please bear with me if I'm moving too fast, but after the presentation, me and my friends or colleagues will be there and we will talk more in case you need more clarity or more information. So these three pictures here, it shows that this is the past years since VIPOC was established. We had 3 conferences, and the 3 conferences, the first one was in France, which was organized and planned by the Association of France, which is run by Nicolle and then Jean-Marie and Mary, not Miriam, Martin. And then in 2020, unfortunately, due to pandemic, we were supposed to come to India and have a big conference, but pandemic had because of the restriction. But Dr. Maya and her team with Shorter Association, they did manage to plan something in 2020. And then 2022, that was the last conference that we had, which was planned by the Dutch Association, which is run by Mr. Paul, which was in Amsterdam. Personally, I was not there because of the restriction visas and all that, but I did manage to attend the sessions, all 3 sessions visually. So we're hoping that for the next years, maybe to increase our membership, because we're currently sitting on 16 or 17 members across the world. So we have Africa being represented, but then we still need more members to join us from VIPOC. And then if you know any organization in your country, I am kindly asking you if you can refer them to come and join us, because VIPOC is an international organization. And then we also need more members across all the other continents, Asia and South America and North America and everything. Because currently we do have members in Ukraine, France, Netherlands, Germany, South Africa, Kenya, we have 3 or 2 if I'm not mistaken, Ghana and Bahrain and India, so definitely, and Switzerland, we're hoping to find things, and then also Spain. So we would like you, if you know an organization in your home country, if you can put a good word for us so that they can come for us, because if we work together, we will definitely, help with the finding the cure while you're working with the doctors and the scientists and the farm. So maybe someone might be asking themselves, what are the benefits of being a member for VIPOC? One of the things for being a member for VIPOC, obviously we'll try to, if we have more information about the studies, we'll try to publish them on the VIPOC website. And when we work with the researchers and all that, having that networking relationship with the doctors or scientists, at least will be kept on the loop of the new studies or new trial of any drug that is coming through. And the other one, you'll be able to attend the conferences, but only if you are a VIPOC member, you have an organization or a support group back in your country. I'm just gonna try and summarize the strategic plan for VIPOC, so that we don't run out of time, sorry about that. And then we would like to strengthen the collaboration between patient advocacy group, because without advocacy, there will not much work be done on the vitiligo. And to drive the disease awareness and the training, we're not only focusing on international, we're focusing regionally and everything. What do you mean by regional? We know where they have different organizations in different regions and everything. And then one of them also is to strengthen the advocacy campaigns with people in addition to numbers to show the disease and to policy and to healthcare authorities, because we really need strong policies on the national level and also before we can focus more also on the international level. And then one of the ones that I nearly forgot is the clinical research and the results. So this is the map that shows, I think I moved too fast. This is the map that shows the conferences that we had previously for VIPOC. Okay, this is the members, but then I think there's just a little bit of an error there. But we currently have 25 contact members, but the official one that we have, there are 17 members. This is an invitation from myself or as a VIPOC representative. I would like to extend the invitation to the doctors, scientists to join our scientific committee, because we need your expertise and knowledge on vitiligo, especially when it comes to the latest on the results and all that. You can speak to myself or Nicole or Dr. Maya or Stephen. Thank you so much. Okay, Dr. Maya will be coming through. Thank you so much.
One of our esteemed member who is with Shweta for last 12 years has flown in from Pune today morning. She is a computer engineer, and I would like to invite Kanchan. Please do come and share your experiences.
Thank you, Dr. Maya. Good afternoon, everyone. So, as Dr. Maya said, as a vitiligo patient, I am here to represent the Pune community. So, my name is Kanchan Deshpande. By profession, I am an engineer, and I've been working as a testing manager in IT sector since past 15 years. So, I just want to share how my journey was and couple of experiences which helped me fought with the personal stigma and also the social stigma that all the vitiligo patient has to go through. So I have had vitiligo since past 30 years now, rather more than 30 years. So as a kid in the school, I always had people or my friends pointing at me, oh, she's a different kid, she has that, she has that. So I used to hide behind my clothes. I used to have jollies or the tattoos on my spots, on the visible spots, specifically on my hands. But as I grew up, I finished my college and I went to a corporate sector. Then I realized that, okay, all of these things that I was worrying for so many years, it's just a cosmetic condition, or I know doctors don't call it as a cosmetic condition, but for me, to gain my confidence, I convinced myself it is just a cosmetic condition and it does not stop you from achieving anything in your career or as your personal growth. I was able to get a good job. I was able to work at a MNC, and when I started working, nobody asked me about my vitiligo. So everything was going fine until first 10-15 years. My parents, they had me go for multiple treatments like Ayurvedic, allopathic, the sun exposure, then the homeopathic treatment. And to some extent, my spots were stable. In 2015, when the marriage talks started, right? And as an Indian girl with vitiligo and with visible spots, all of that tension and stress, it started pouring in. Okay? And because of that stress and tension, my spots started growing exponentially. So initially, I did not have any spot on my hands or my wrist. But because of that tension and overall discussions and also discussing with the various matrimonial prospects, I started getting worried and I got spots on my hands and wrists everywhere on my visible sections of my body. So in 2015, my mom registered me in the marriage bureau, which Shweta Association runs. Through that marriage bureau, I met few people. They have good counselors in that organization. So they helped me to gain confidence. They boosted my morale. To give you one example, Dr. Maya's daughter, Dr. Mukta, she's also a dermatologist. One day she told me that just because you have vitiligo, it does not mean you deserve less. Don't feel bad about yourself. Just be yourself and then just go for it. Don't compromise on anything. Okay? And that really helped me gain confidence, and I moved on. I started phototherapy sessions with Shweta organization, and with that narrowband UV therapy, all of my spots on my hands and wrist, everything got cured, and I was able to, wear clothes. I would say that, because in India, again, because of the social stigma, you always are conscious on when you are going in public, when you are going on family functions. People start asking me, "Arey, iski shadi kab ho rahi hai? When is she going to get married? Oh, it seems that she's facing some issues because she has vitiligo, right? She's not getting any boy." So all of those reactions and that experiences, I was able to go through because of the confidence that I got from the counselors, and also the most important, the support that I got from my family. My family never treated me any differently, apart from the treatment that they tried for me. So I got married into a family. I am fortunate enough that in my in-laws, there is no vitiligo history. Nobody asked me about anything. Nobody even doubted what will happen in future if the spots increase. Okay? And unfortunately, or I would say coincidentally, since past 1 year, the spots really increased because I got corona. Corona had some impact on every one of us. Because of the pandemic lifestyle, we were working from home. I got corona, I was stressed, and again my spots started increasing. I went to Dr. Gupta, I met Dr. Maya again. I asked them, okay, what should I do? Should I stop the treatment or should I let it go? They told me that it is up to you, how long you want to take it on. How want to you carry on with these spots. If you want, you can again go for the phototherapy sessions. But again, as Dr. Maya said, that you have to live with it. Okay, because this is going to stay with you for your whole life. No, none of the doctor will say that, okay, we are going to completely cure vitiligo, because we can stabilize the spots to some extent, but those will remain forever. I was stressed for a bit, but then I again started the phototherapy sessions, and then I started seeing the repigmentation, and then again, most importantly, the support that I received from my in-laws' families and my parents. It was tremendous. My mom-in-law once even told me that, don't worry about these spots, beta. This is just a cosmetic condition. Nobody is going to say anything to you. So these are the things that can help you to come out of that stigma or the tension and the stress that as a vitiligo patient we all go through. You know, as a kid, we never understand it. We don't realize it, that these things don't matter in your life after one particular level. We are only worrying about it for no reason, and it is only because people are not aware of what the vitiligo actually is. Okay. I would like to thank Dr. Maya to give me an opportunity to experience such a wonderful forum. And as a patient, I feel very confident, and I feel positive that there are these many support groups for us, and we are not alone in this journey. Thank you all.
So this will conclude our discussion about our program for vitiligo, but we do have a few minutes for the audience if they have any questions at this time. Going once. I knew it.
I don't have a question. I just want to say on behalf of everyone here that this was an amazing session, and we all just thank you for being so transparent and open, and your willingness to work with the scientific community together. to help people with vitiligo all over the world. And I hope we have, I wish I could have recorded it and we can broadcast this to the whole world, because I think this would encourage people all over the world. We just need more of this. Need more of this all across the world. And I think with the VIS and through all the organizations, we should have more presentations like this to give people hope. So thank you for your presentations, and thank you for all that you do to help people around the world and in your countries.
Thank you all, and this will conclude this session.